And your voice is my favorite sound, yeah. I can hear you breathing when I put it down, yeah. Crazy how last weekend turned into a fling, though. All I want is your audition, can you sing for me? I want melody to take me home. Please don't wait too long, yeah. Wanna hear you sing, wanna make you moan. Melody, please take me home. Please don't wait too long, yeah. Wanna hear you sing, wanna make you moan, yeah. Bad little broad from the valley, that's my turf. She has high balance every.
What's up YouTube? As promised, I'm back with another video. And this time I show you how I shoot and edit my portraits. So sometimes we portrait photographers come to a point, whether we are a beginner or a pro, that we overshoot. And believe me, that happens to me a lot. So in this video I will show you my editing process in Lightroom and how I select the photos that I really want to edit. So after the photo shoot, you take all your raw images and copy them on your computer. What I like to do next is open up all the photos inside Adobe Bridge and not directly into Lightroom. Now, Bridge is a total underrated raw viewer in my opinion, so I use it to make a rough selection of my photos to reduce the total number of the photos that I got from the shoot. I will open the photos in full frame by clicking the space bar, and then I go through every image and have a look at them one by one, and by pressing the 1 on the numpad, I can rate my photos with 1 star. So I will make this selection really rough, and all the photos that I find okay will go into this selection. So I will speed this up for now, so the video will not last forever. Okay, now that I selected all the images, I will click on the filter that will show my selection with the 1-star rated photos. And now I mark them all and I copy them to another folder. So we name the folder selection and we copy all the 1-star rated photos in there. Why I do that? Well, that separates them from the other pictures that I don't want, and later on I will delete the raw files and I will only archive the selections folder to save hard disk space. After that I will open Lightroom Classic CC and import the photos from the selections folder, and I make sure to render a one-on-one preview. I then add all the images into a new Lightroom folder and we give it just a random name. Now in Lightroom I'm going to narrow the selection of the images further down by rating the photos a second time. Same as in Bridge, when you go through all the images you can press a number from 1 to 5 to rate your photos. So you may have guessed it, when I go through the images, I give my second selection a 2-star rating. Now I have a deeper look at the images and I look more on the expressions and composition of the image. To make that possible, when I have a set of similar images, I go back and forth and compare the images, and then I select only 1 or 2 images of a set that I like. Okay, so one more time we speed it up to make this video a little bit faster. Now we come to the last step of our selection. I use the 2-star filter to only show the 2-star images, and from there I make a last selection. Now I only select a couple of photos that I really like the most. I select approximately around 10 to 15 images that I'm going to edit later. This is only my way of doing it. Maybe there is another way that suits your editing process more, but for me it is the easiest way to select 10 images out of 5 or 700 from the shoot. So automatically I get rid of the photos that I never end up using. Plus they only use up all my hard disk space, and why should you even keep them on your hard disk? So yeah, now we come to the part where I actually show you my editing process in Lightroom. To edit my photos, I use my own portrait Lightroom presets. You can find them on my Selfie store, but basically you can use any Lightroom preset that is fitting your style, or you can even make your own. But I encourage you to use presets because they are saving you time and you don't have to edit each picture from the ground. So as you can see, when I go through my presets, not every preset is fitting the image, but for this one I use my teal and orange version 2 faded black preset. The next thing I really want to appeal to you is that when you throw a preset on any image, you always should make adjustments to the settings, because the person that made the preset for a specific image, and the image were shot in a specific lighting or a specific location, and when you throw it to a completely other image, it would end up looking not so good because it is not fitting the image. So you should always use different presets. This applies to me as well. When I come back from a shoot and I find that none of my previous presets are working for a specific image, I then sit there and I create a new preset. And that one will be ready for the next shoot that matches this preset. So you get the point. But now we're going to fine tune all the settings for this image. Okay, I've set my preset to auto adjustments for the exposure, because this will most likely give us a good starting point. First, for this image I want to add more contrast, just like that, and I turn down the exposure a little bit. Let's have a look at the highlights. Okay, that should be fine, I guess. I turn down the shadows a little bit. Okay, now what I always do with my portraits is that I use gradient masks. So I can add a custom vignette to the background, and I use another mask for the model to brighten her up, and the background is less distracting. But you don't have to use gradient mask if you don't want to, then you can just simply delete them. But if you're using masks in a preset, you should always adjust them for each image individually. I change the exposure for each mask, and I also change the range, or I will transform the mask a little bit to fit it on the image. Okay, this is looking very good so far. Maybe I turn down the shadows a little bit. Okay, this should do it. One last thing, I will use the crop tool and I will change the crop slightly so there is less background and the subject is a little bit bigger on the image. Now, if you have a set of photos that are similar in exposure, you can easily mark them and you can sync all the settings from the previous photo, and this is a massive time-saving instrument. But be sure not to sync the transform or the crop settings. You should set them for each image individually. Now, if we have a look on the next image, this will also look very good right from the start. So I will only adjust the gradient masks on here. I will speed this up here one more time. The last image is looking just fine now. Now we are going to edit one more image from the start. So I go through my presets one more time. As you can see, the preview of Lightroom is really helpful here. So for this I use my D-Light Portrait Faded Blacks preset. I adjust the gradient mask a little bit, and I also tweak some of the exposure values. And I cannot say it enough, that presets are not meant to take all the work from you. They are only some little helpers in the edit to save you some time. And this is a mistake beginners often do. Okay, on to our last image that we added. Now, as you can see, this image was shot slightly underexposed, but the sensor of the Sony is giving me enough dynamic range to recover the shadows. So I took advantage of it, since I only used natural light and I had no other light source with me. With the Sonys, you should always underexpose, not overexpose, because you can't recover highlights that good as the shadows. And as you can see, as I go through the fine tunings of this image, I was able to recover the shadows very easily without losing any of the details. Okay guys, for now we're done. I don't want this video to last forever, but I will make another video where I show you how I quickly retouch my portraits, especially the skin of the models in Photoshop. So thanks for watching and subscribe to my channel to see the next video.